Welcome in, latest episode of that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Mike Bratton. Go by SEC Mike on the Twitters. Live from old Destin spring meetings. But there's everybody's favorite cousin, Shane. What's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
I got to know, Shane, are you ever going to jump in that water? I need video of you jumping in back here.
Just came out. I thought you could tell with my wet hair here. No. True story. Somebody asked me today. I was up in Pigeon Forge, and he says, are you from around here? I said, yeah. He says, you know any place to get a haircut? And I said, is Mike in the bushes? Am I getting punked here? Said, brother, I haven't cut my hair. Like, I haven't been to a barber since I was in 8th grade, So.
How about that barber down on the main drag there, right across from...
you got an earthquake again.
Oh, it's shaking again.
Yeah.
We're getting hit hard down here in Destin. Hurricane winds. I don't know why that did that, but that was pretty cool. It's been doing that, so it's probably going to do it about 20 more times during the show. That pretty much encapsulates what's going on. The highlight of today, Shane, was breakfast. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Would you like to know about breakfast?
Yes, please. Tell me about food.
Okay, we went to this place called Bistroology or something like that, right? Man, we had a stack of pancakes. It's hurricane down here again. The stack of pancakes that it was probably about 8 inches high, cream, berries, and I had have you ever had do you remember that coffee, what I got? It was called a Boon Ban or Boon Bomb or something like that.
Boon Bomb? No.
Yeah, you ever heard of something like that?
No, I've never had it.
So the pancakes were 8 inches tall, right? But my coffee was about ½ inch tall, and it was probably the strongest coffee I ever had in my life, but it was pretty delicious.
Was it?
Besides that, it's all been downhill, and I think we lost video now.
That's all right. It probably will help our ratings, Mike. Did y'all go anywhere last night? Did you go anywhere to eat? Any fancy seafood places? There's a lot of recommendations from the Cuzzos.
Yeah, last night I went out to dinner. I don't know how much information I can give on that, but little spring meetings behind the scenes. So yeah. I did get some fun conversations out of that.
Well, speaking of fun conversations, I heard a little thing. I want to run this one by you since you're blurry there. Hey, there he is. This was reported. Chris Del Conte, Texas AD. He said he came out, Mike. Let me get my comments here. He came out and he said that basically he was talking about why they did not want to move the Ohio State game, because a lot of people were arguing about moving this thing to the Sunday night, and Of course Texas reportedly shut that down. He says, "Why would I want to move the game to Sunday night and have a short week?" He said, no to Sunday game. I've got to go to church. We got to go to church. We can't play on Sunday, Mike. Oh, what are your thoughts on Texas here? We all know why they didn't do it, but what do you think about, using the Lord's house as a reason not to have this game played on Sunday?
Well, Shane, I don't know about you, but Texas needs all the days they can to prepare for freaking San Jose State. I mean, if they only had 6 days, God forbid, to get ready for San Jose, it may only be a 60-point game instead of a 70-point game like it's going to be this season. So I don't, again, should they have moved it to Sunday? I think that would have been pretty awesome. But I understand Texas logic to where it's not about church, but it's about wanting, the full week to prepare. But how in the hell do you need extra days to prepare for San Jose State? I'll never know.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I could understand if it were some powerhouse or just an SEC opponent. But you're right. I think you could take third string and hang 40 on San Jose. So right. I think in 3 days' time, you would be, no pun intended. I know we're bringing up church here, but I think you would be fine. You could roll in there and kick some tail. You know what I'm saying? So I saw that. There's like not a lot of interesting comments I've noticed. I mean, I've been streaming. I've been seeing if Sankey said anything. My best friend Sankey. I thought the Lane comments were pretty interesting. Kirby. It seems like most of the action has happened on Paul Feinbaum. So if you've not seen the Feinbaum show, that was pretty exciting. But it seems to me like this week's conversations have pretty much simply been boiled down to: are we going to 9 games? How is the college football playoffs going to look? Is there going to be one portal? So it feels like we're kind of funneling into this, but I don't know about you, Mike, but it doesn't feel like we're really going to get any rock hard, solid decisions this week.
No. Oh, there goes my camera again. But
Jesus, what are we doing here?
I think she's booting back up the thing. But if you can still hear me,
yeah.
I think what they're doing, Shane, is they're man, they hyped this damn event up to, it was going to be the damn Super Bowl of spring meetings, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like Mississippi State Akron of spring meetings. There's nothing going on, man. There's no reason to be here. I mean, it's not that cool. They're just basically the what everybody's talking about is whatever's on the table, the SEC can't do until they know this, until they know that, until they know the House settlement, until they know the playoff, until they know expansion. It's like the SEC is handcuffed by all these things as well, which I thought we were damn running this sport, but apparently the SEC is not running shit these days. It's been it's disappointing, to be honest with you. Like my camera. The camera's working as well as the damn meetings, in my opinion.
Honestly, it's like me talking about when we get back from vacation, Mike. I'm locking in. You know what I'm saying? I'm eating chicken and rice. I'm getting up every morning. I'm going to the gym. It sounds great in theory, but then you roll into town and you're like, well, I forgot we had a birthday to go to Tuesday, and next thing you know, I'm definitely not going to the gym. Fun fact, Mike here. Mm-hmm. I joined a new gym. I don't know if you knew this. Yep. They're not a sponsor of the show.
Wait, so I go to Destin Beach one time. You're like, you know what? I got to get in shape to get invited to come down here. Is that what this was?
Well, I thought, maybe that's why I wasn't down there. I couldn't get poolside with you. You were afraid too many people would be out. But yeah, no, my youngest talked me back into joining this National Fitness thing, and it's the third time. The third time I've signed up for this thing. I probably collectively have spent $9,000 on gym membership to this place, and I counted on 2 hands how many times I've been there, and majority of those were signing up and canceling. So, but she's excited, she's pumped up. So, I've joined yet another gym, Mike. But I am down. I will tell you this, little motivation. I am down 59 pounds as of this morning.
Cousin Trey says, is there a restaurant called The Gym?
Yeah, there actually is one in Sevier County.
Oh, my goodness. No, I'm proud of you, buddy. So hopefully this is what do they say? The 11th time's the charm? I mean, I think it is for you. You know what?
Absolutely. I feel pretty good about it, so. But anyway, it's not about me. We're not on that SEC podcast to talk about a diet or food. We're just, it feels like we're having to make conversation. It shouldn't be list season at spring meetings. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of feels like that's what we're doing, is we're trying to make something out of basically nothing.
Well, how about this, though? Because Kiffin did talk about a 16-team playoff.
Yeah.
And straight seeding it. I think we closed with this last time. But I've had an opportunity to go back and actually listen to what he said. Here is a bracket of what it would look like if we had done this last year, Shane. So for those just listening back, we would have had number 1 Oregon at home playing Clemson. We would have had number 2 Georgia playing number 15 South Carolina. So the Gamecocks would have went in. Number 11 Alabama at number 6 Ohio State. Tennessee, number 7, would have been hosting number 10 SMU. Texas, number 3, hosting number 14 Ole Miss. I don't know that I'm fully in favor of expanding to 16. I think it's for sure going to happen. But if they're going to do it like this, hell, this looks like a better format than what we had last year for like 100 times better.
100 times. Absolutely. It'd be kind of nice if we threw one of them SEC teams to the left side of that bracket, but basically it looks like an SEC tournament on the right side. But who would not sign up for this? You know, I that's what sucks is the storyline was, and I keep bringing them up. Indiana, you know, it was Arizona State, it was Clemson barely getting in, it was Bama being left out, South Carolina being left out. If we got to see Georgia and South Carolina, how awesome would that have been? Tennessee and SMU, I think they move forward. And then guess what? We probably got a repeat of either Tennessee and Georgia, or we got a Tennessee South Carolina matchup. So again, at the end of the day, you got to remember, this whole thing is owned by Disney, an entertainment company. And they can't sit there and look at 16 and say, you know what would have been better is if we would have had those games. So I think that's why we will see change sooner than later.
And then this was just reported, I think, by Ross Dellinger right before we hopped on here, Shane, where apparently the Big Ten is now kind of in favor, along with the ACC and the Big 12, of going to a 16-team playoff, with the 5 conference champions automatically getting in, and then 11 at large. So the next 11 that are the highest ranked. Apparently all the coaches in the SEC love that, but the Big Ten says they will not do it unless the SEC goes to 9 conference games, because that's what they play. So what's your thoughts on that?
I think 9. I want 9, me personally.
Yeah,
but I do understand Sankey and company. You know, if we have 9 SEC games, then I think we have more 9-3 teams trying to get into the college football playoffs, and again, I think it makes for an awesome football season because we're going to have some epic showdowns. But at the end of the day, if our teams are not represented, I heard Georgia's AD talk about this today. He says his only goal is to find a path to get more SEC teams into the college football playoffs. And I think, honestly, Mike, that's what we're wanting as well.
Yeah, I think the computer's trying to kick us off here. But, yeah, get more SEC teams in there. Hell, if they did that, Shane, if they went to 11 at-larges.
Yeah.
But there is SEC has to play 9 though. Like if South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Alabama each had an extra conference game, would they have fallen to 8-4?
Possibly.
I mean, the way Alabama was playing, the way that Ole Miss, they could beat the shit out of Georgia but lose to Kentucky. Hell, who knows? I mean, I think all these teams possibly could get knocked out by playing. You know, if Ole Miss had to play Tennessee,
yeah,
that may be an elimination for one of them. If Alabama had to play Texas, yeah, they definitely would have got eliminated. So I don't know, that's just wild to me. All this, you know, they're just talking in circles, man. And how can you not be? I don't know about you. I'm tired of all this. I want them to make a damn decision and let's move forward and let's adjust with that. But we've been talking about this shit for 4 years. Feels like. No,
and we've been talking about it too. You know, so it gets exhausting. You know, saying the same shit over and over, and we want the change and we feel the change is coming, but we just don't know when it's going to happen. It always feels like it's going to happen, but it'll be 2 years later, you know, right. Like you always hear those projections like, hey, we're going to get a new highway, but it's going to take 5 years to build it, you know? So, you know,
yeah, because Greg Sankey came out today and said they're not going to make a decision on the 9-game, 8 versus 9. They're not going to do it this week.
And what's crazy to me, Mike, is we have been talking about this particular week for an entire year. You know, last year during these meetings, they were talking about 9 games. You know what I'm saying? They were talking about the scheduling and stuff like that. And we said, hey, this is exactly why the SEC came out with the same schedule in 2025, because something special is going to happen in 2026. And guess what? Nothing special happened. So what are they going to do? Flip it back and we're going to play the same damn schedule? I mean, what is the thought process there?
Well, how about this though? Greg Sankey, and he didn't go any further explanation. I wish he would have. He said they have kind of figured out ways to keep it at 8, but to keep Georgia, Auburn, to keep Tennessee, Alabama, to keep Texas, Texas A&M. So they've even contemplated that, which tells me there is a real chance that it stays at 8 if they're sitting here trying to figure out how to keep these great rivalry games. So I'm right there with you. I think the Big Ten possibly putting pressure on the SEC will help them get to 9.
Mm-hmm.
But man, after this week, I came down here looking for that to be a formality. Now I'm sitting here wondering if it's actually going to happen or not.
Stephen Up says Shane must have the controls. Yes. Now we got a blurry Shane and a Mike going in and out. So you can see I'm not the greatest producer here, but we're trying to make it work.
Now, hey, how about this? This is the juiciest nugget that I picked up down here, Shane.
Okay.
All the SEC coaches are pissed, and they're not talking about it publicly because I think they don't want a damn war with the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And I don't have all the specifics, so I'll just tell you what I know.
Yeah.
But apparently the Big Ten is trying to screw with transfers to where they cannot transfer in January. The Big Ten players cannot transfer to the SEC. But they are doing it to where SEC players can transfer to the Big Ten. That's what they're trying to get away with, and the coaches are pissed.
Well, why wouldn't they be? I mean, what world does that make sense? How close is this to being possible, or is this just words right now?
I mean, Kirby. That's what Kirby's telling people down here, but not off the record. That's the biggest issue, and that essentially the Big Ten's trying to pull one over on the SEC, and the fact that the Big Ten commit. Again, I said this on the last episode, right? Greg Sankey's he's talking every day.
Yeah.
He's doing press conferences every day. He's doing the Paul Feinbaum show. He's talking to reporters in the hallway, and you don't hear anything from the Big Ten commissioner. Literally, they just had their meetings. He hasn't spoken. I don't think the guy's done an interview in like 3 months. So I don't know. It sounds like they're trying to pull some like Game of Thrones cloak and dagger moves here. You know what?
Yeah, it's like my wife. She's really into those like old English shows of Scottish, where they're like killing the kings and queens. It feels like that right there. Like there's a rat among us. And no, I think it's funny that the people, I guess you say authority figures there at the Big Ten, they're not saying anything like you said, but by God, their media is eating it up. You know what I'm saying? I swear, I've never seen Sankey's name so many times on YouTube or TikTok or Twitter. I mean, it is just through the mud, and they're just saying, look at this poor conference, and I'm like, to make this work, it's like parenting, Mike. You can't have a good cop, bad cop. You can't have a good mom and mean dad, which sometimes it feels like we have over here at my house. But because it creates a problem, you have to have a united front. And I don't know what's going to happen with the NCAA. I don't know what's going to happen with the future of college football or the playoffs or anything like that. But what I do know is that there will be 2 conferences at the top, and that's going to be the SEC and the Big Ten. And the fact that they are not coming out here like unified parents, it's just going to be messy for a few years. Everybody's trying to get a leg up right now. That's exactly what they're doing. They're taking advantage of it. But eventually, we're going to have to get to a point where we both agree.
Yeah, and to go back to the portal stuff, so the Big Ten's already at an advantage because they don't have the rule, to my knowledge, that the SEC does, to where they can steal each other's players in the spring. They can obviously steal SEC players in the spring. So I think the coaches are pissed at all these advantages that the Big Ten already has in the portal, and that the advantages they're trying to get moving forward. So that is a little nugget that nobody's talking about that they should be. You know, we got to get to the bottom of this and try to figure out what these damn Yankees are trying to pull. They're trying to pull one over on us, Shane, and
That's right.
I'm not here for it.
I like JP here. He says it's Tennessee before they jump to the Big Ten. Everybody, we're playing chess while everybody's playing checkers, you know. So, no, that can't fly. I really don't see that happening because anything that the SEC has and the Big Ten doesn't, they won't stop wallering until they get it, you know. So, I feel like it will, like I said, even out. But Sankey said it yesterday. We know the start, we know the finish, but we know the middle is going to be ugly. And he says right now we are in the middle. But you know what's not ugly, cuz?
JR,
the legend. There he is, gifted a podcast membership. Welcome to the family. Who we got here? Somebody give me a shout out.
The legend, Cousin JR, has done it again. The memberships in this podcast are brought to you in part by Cousin JR.
See anybody posted it yet?
all you got to do, Shane, is go to YouTube.
I know.
And see.
I know. I'm getting there. All right, here we are. Robert, is that right? Yes. Here we are, Mike. Robert MF. Oh wait, no. Rob M. Field. Welcome to the family.
Welcome
the family.
to the family.
You
What a hot
MF. Shane
mess.
called you.
You MF Field. You. Oh, you know, we always rag on family here, so I think he's going to fit in great. So thank you, cuz. I appreciate
thank you, JR.
For the sponsor and showing up and keeping the lights on, even though Mike is trying to take this thing over here. So,
Hey, speaking of the Big Ten, so there's also a lot of conversation. I don't know if you saw it, Brian Kelly, among others, saying they want to play the Big Ten annually. They want this SEC Big Ten Challenge. I'm trying to figure out who in the hell wants that, because I know Brian Kelly says he wants it, but I mean, how many Big Ten teams are attractive for the SEC? Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State on a good year, Oregon, maybe Southern Cal. I mean, I'm running out of teams here.
Right.
Do you want the SEC playing the Big Ten annually?
Yeah, I do. You know, I don't know how this thing's going to play out. You know, I've heard 10-2s. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
It's something that's you know, kind of being thrown around because, and this is why, Mike, because we sit here in June or coming up in June, and we're trying to pick who the top 25 teams are in the country. Mm-hmm. And then we play all these games, and then we get to the end of the year, and then we try to decide the best 12 to get in, hopefully 16 to get in. And we don't really have a temperature gauge for teams like shitty Indiana, you know. I can say that. There's some Ohio State guys in here, and I appreciate you guys showing up. But Indiana, we don't get any of those bastards. I don't even know. They're not allowed in here, you know, just like they shouldn't have been allowed in the playoffs. But we don't have that temperature gauge to say, okay, this is a, you know, like Kiffin wants 5-11. How do we know that this is the 11 that needs to be in? But if we are playing multiple Big Ten games and let's say we're winning or let's say we're losing, I feel like at the end of the year when we're trying to find those 16 teams, we can easily say, well, this one shouldn't be in because they got absolutely smoked by, you know, Vanderbilt or whoever. And I'm not dogging Vanderbilt. I'm just saying, you know, that's why I kind of want it just more for a temperature gauge, but also fandom. How awesome would it be to beat up on the Oregon Ducks? You know, how great would it be? I think it'd be terrible for fans to an extent, having to travel to all of these. But I still think that at the end of the day, it would be awesome entertainment.
Yeah. What if it costs you, though, South Carolina, Clemson? What if it costs you Georgia Tech? What if it costs you Kentucky, Louisville? Would you still be on board with that?
Well, why you got to do that? You know,
Because we can't have Kentucky playing 9 SEC, Big Ten, Louisville. I mean, they don't want to go to 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're not gonna favor this. And I'm not saying we should do it just because of Kentucky, but South Carolina. I mean, they got to play Clemson. Apparently, God's gift of football.
Well,
They're gonna go 8-4 again, you know. But preseason's God's gift of football is Clemson.
But I do think that top to bottom, the SEC still is superior than the Big Ten. Big Ten is extremely top heavy. You mentioned it. There's several really good football teams, but I mean, if Kentucky got a damn Indiana, but I don't know how I keep bringing them up, but I think they'd be all right with that because then that would be a signature win under Coach Stoops' belt. So, I don't ever think the Big Ten is going to have the parity of this conference. And, even the guys that are kind of sucking right now, Mississippi State's, the Arkansas's, the Vanderbilts, you know what I'm saying? It's like still, we had Vanderbilt knock off Alabama last year, give Mizzou a run for their money. We had Arkansas beat Tennessee, a team that was in the college football playoffs. Mississippi State, now they've not had theirs yet, but they gave Texas a little bit of a run. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a blowout, but it was a closer game than most. So I don't think what I'm saying in all those words, Mike, is I do think that top to bottom, the parity of this league would be beneficial in the long run, especially when we're talking playoffs.
I hear you, Shane. And all that rambling, you missed all kinds of donations. So get to Sancho's. Sancho's hit us up again.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. I got to do my job here. All right. Sancho's. Dang, Sancho's. Come on now. You're going to make me read again. I think he's just doing this so I'd read all these names. All right. All right.
Welcome
Thanks to Sancho's. We've got some families joining. So we got some more family members here. James Ferris, Bobby G, Exo, Michael Bratton, Charlie Taylor. Oh, wait. Yeah. Fred K. Tim, Kentucky Wildcat fan. Wonder who he's a fan of. Sleeping Earthlings. Emily Powell, Bradley Rhodes. I think that's it. Cousins, welcome
to the family. Thank you, Sancho's. And we have a Sancho sound effect. JP sent me one.
Uh-oh.
So I haven't uploaded it yet. I'm out here, but I'll do that as soon as I get back. I'm getting back tomorrow. So Sancho's got his own sound effect.
Sancho's got his own sound. You know who may be next? Jesse. Jesse may get his own sound. I tried clicking his comments to bring it up here. I forgot I got to go to the computer. Thank you. Jesse put, Sellers is coming for y'all. Book it.
Yeah.
Ooh, thank you, cuz. That's one guy I don't think's getting enough respect. And again, on this show, people are probably tired of hearing it. But I'm seeing a lot of quarterback lists floating around here, Mike. A lot of quarterback lists. And I'm not seeing Sellers on it as much as it should be. And I'm not seeing Nussmeier on there as much as it should be. Or the other is the country sleeping on the quarterbacks in the SEC?
Oh, no doubt. But I'll do you one better, Shane.
Yeah.
And this is just for Jesse here. How many quarterbacks in the SEC are you taking right now that you guarantee are better than Sellers? How many SEC quarterbacks do you guarantee are better than Sellers right now?
There's not one. I always give you that same. If we need a drive, man, and I'm going to that locker room, and all 16 of the quarterbacks are suited up. Who am I bringing out there? Sellers is my first pick.
Over Arch?
Yeah, Arch is my second.
Over Nussmeier?
Nuss is third.
Over Aguilar? No.
Aguilar.
What about I forgot you hate the Gators, but you don't have DJ Lagway up there?
Nah, his busted up arm. I don't know if I could handle him. No, I'm just kidding. I probably shouldn't joke about injuries, but he's up there. He's probably my fourth one, I would say.
Okay.
And then I don't do a quarterback rankings, but I just kind of did. That's after that. It's kind of a hodgepodge of groupings. I maybe
Cousin Ben's got a question. Will you read Cousin Ben's?
No, I won't.
I would. Yeah. What about John Mateer? You forgot about old
Mateer's
Johnny
my fifth
Magic.
one.
Okay.
Mateer's my fifth one. There's a couple of guys that have not been in this conference that you're looking at the upside. John Mateer, I think, is leading that pack. Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if John's not at the top of this list at the end of the year. But
yeah,
I'm just going off a little bit more of what I've seen. When I talk about Nuss and I talk about DJ and I talk about these guys Sellers, we've seen it. We've seen it coming in. Even Arch, as much as people don't like him, outside of Texas, I still think that he's going to be super special down there in Austin.
This Liquid's got a comment for you here. If you want to read it on the page here.
Liquid says Tennessee fan underestimating Florida. That's always fun.
And then Broken Heartbroken Hog. Everyone's sleeping on Taylor Green. You forgot about your boy Taylor, Shane.
Shit, yeah. I would put Mateer and Taylor Green in the same category, tier, if you will. That's kind of where I'm at.
In the same John Mateer.
I see what you did there. Yeah, I think he's super special. And you were asking, I'm looking at the Tennessee Vols. I would absolutely love to have Taylor Green as our quarterback. I believe let me ask you this, Mike. If Taylor Green, can he still come over as another portal? No. If Taylor Green came over here to Knoxville, Tennessee, what do you think the over-under would be? Because I think we're at 9.5 right now, right? Or 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah, 8.5. What do you think it would be if Taylor Green suited up for them Vols?
10.
10. I mean, tell me the kid ain't special. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And he I mean, I don't mean this disrespectfully. I mean this truthfully. I try to speak the truth.
Yeah.
He could be the best quarterback in the conference this year, and no one will know it. Because he's probably not gonna have the help around him.
Yeah. No, but again, he did some. I mean, there was moments last year.
Right. I'm not saying he's bad.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, I think we're gonna watch him a lot this year, Shane, and be like, damn, if only he had this receiver, if only he had a tight end, if only he had, God.
If he wasn't running for his life.
Who's blocked? You know what I mean? Like there may be 2 or 3 games where it all clicks and we're like, good Lord. And then there's 2 or 3 games where you're like, man, this guy's not that good. But it's probably because he's not getting the help that all these other guys are getting,
No, and that out of the groupings, I just think his ceiling is a lot higher. But because of what he has around him, I think the floor is a lot lower. And you're right. This is a guy that may not get the respect he deserves, but you cannot watch an Arkansas game and just not see. Some of those guys you just know they're different. They're built different. Sometimes you'll watch an SEC team and you're like, hey, this is just another face coming through here. They'll have a different guy next year, but I think Taylor Green is truly special, and he may pull off a couple more upsets this year like he did last season. If he stays healthy.
Yeah.
What about Nuss? What do you think Nuss is right now on your list? Top 4? Is he in the
3.
top 4? 3?
I put him number 3. What about Brian Kelly today? I love these guys. They used to come here. They used to come with football stuff. I like football. I don't like talking 8, 9. I used to like talking 8, 9, but they're dragging that shit on. And apparently they just said, Greg Sankey, they're going to probably decide that 8 versus 9 right around football season. So we'll still be asking that damn question at media days. I like when they come down here and they talk trash and they talk about football. So I'll credit Brian Kelly for that. He said, this is the best damn team I've had at LSU, Shane. So we already know they're spending a ton. They've fallen short of expectations. Now they got the highest expectations. So I'm not sitting here saying LSU's been bad. They won 9 games last year. They won the division a couple of years ago. But he's not down there to win divisions, Shane. He's down there to win national championships. He said that to the family as soon as he got down there. Best team he's ever had. What is that going to result in, you think, for LSU? That now that we got Brian Kelly, he seems like the most confident guy down here.
Well, I mean, last year he said he was going to compete for a national championship too, So everything he's saying is just confirmation, a doubling down. But it also feels like a man that's painted into a corner. And the expectations, the standards down there in LSU is winning national championships, not just making it into a playoff, which they've not done. It's competing, making it to the top 4, top 2. So, no, I like the confidence in my coach coming out here and saying this, because if that's the attitude you have, then when you're on the recruiting trail, kids want to be a part of that. They want the money. Don't get me wrong. Coach got a lot of money he's giving up down there, but they also want to compete for national championships. And I feel like this could be a special year for LSU.
Well, hey, I've got another exclusive scoop.
Yeah, scoop me.
These are the levels of scoops I get. They're not that good. Brian Kelly committed to another year. He goes on Monday. He does Paul Feinbaum's show, right?
Yeah.
He committed to doing that again this year. So that tells me he thinks he's got a hell of a team, because those appearances are rough, brother. When LSU loses, they get embarrassed, like they did a time or two last year. Those were brutal. Remember he's yelling at the guys on the sideline, and he's getting mad at Paul for asking him about it. He's committed to doing it again, I heard this week.
Yeah.
So does that change anything now that Brian Kelly's committed to doing national television every week?
Doesn't really change, but it's confirmation that, I mean, he wouldn't be saying this if he felt like there were more holes in his roster than there was last season or last few years. So I think if you're a Tiger fan, you're listening to this saying, damn, we may have something pretty special here. So, and the fact coach is coming out and he's, nobody's lost a game yet. So we'll see how many water bottles are bouncing off the table next season. But I feel like, Coach Kelly's in a good spot, which means the fans should be in a good spot. I did want to ask you. Yeah.
Wait, real quick. How quick can you get down here? Because Cousin Bend over here told us Thursday night, McGuire's all-you-can-eat prime rib. That's right down the street. Can you get down here by Thursday night, Shane?
Fun fact, I'm really outside by the pool right now. This entire time, I saw you losers in there. I said, you know what? I'm just staying in the pool the whole time. No, I wanted to ask you, though, because we always talk about the top 5, top 6 quarterbacks. But one of the cousins brought something up in it, and I want to kind of bounce off what Kirby Smart. I know you saw this. Kirby getting on with Paul Feinbaum. Yep. Pretty hot. Pretty upset. Even Lane Kiffin said, watch out. Kirby's fired up. Feinbaum went on ESPN and said that basically, and I'm paraphrasing this, maybe you could do it better, Georgia doesn't have a shot because of the quarterback situation is basically what it sounds like. But Kirby comes out and he says, I'm glad, because he said, I don't know if you saw it. Oh, Kirby said, I seen it. My quarterback's seen it. The team has seen it. They needed the motivation. And I think about all that propaganda that Kirby Smart hangs around the locker room. So, Feinbaum videos playing over and over again. But is there a group of quarterbacks that you got your eye on that maybe we're not talking about right now? I'm talking Ty Simpson. I'm talking, some of these other football teams. Aguilar came up, but guys that we're not talking about, but by the end of the season, there's a real shot we are.
Yeah, I think so. And you mentioned Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
We're both high on Alabama. It could be him. But I also heard this week, Shane, that that freshman quarterback they have, his name's Keelan Russell, I believe.
Yeah.
That he's incredible. He's the real deal. And I also heard if he doesn't play, they're afraid they're going to lose him. So I think he's a guy that Alabama fans certainly know all about, but I think the rest of the SEC is going to know about him pretty soon.
Yeah. What about Pribula? I see Dakota bringing up old Pribula.
I mean, I just don't know anything about him. I don't even think the biggest diehard Missouri fan knows anything about him.
Yeah.
He's barely played. They've not named a starter. I don't know. That's a tough one for me. Gunner is probably the perfect one because Mike Bobo's loved that guy since I say love. That's probably the wrong word. But that's been his guy since like 8th or 9th grade.
Yeah.
Like he has literally been in on that kid for that long. He was going to go play for him at where was it, Auburn or South Carolina? I think it was Auburn. But if Mike Bobo thinks this is like his perfect quarterback, and I know Mike Bobo catches a lot of shit. I think he's a hell of an offensive coordinator. He may not be the best of the world. Georgia doesn't need the best of the world. They got such an elite defense. They just if they have a top 10 offense, they're gonna win the national championship. So I think Gunnar Stockton's that guy that. Shout out Paul for giving that ammunition. That's probably the wrong damn team to give ammunition to. You know what?
I loved it. I've not seen that fiery in a while. It's probably since the Notre Dame game. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
he looked relaxed when he was playing golf. He looked relaxed when he's up there on the podium. But by God, when he sat down there with Paul Feinbaum, you could tell there was a chip on his shoulder. And I'm not saying that he's replaced Nick Saban as Feinbaum's target. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that the Georgia Bulldogs are kind of getting slept on a little bit. You know, every time I pop on the Twitters, I see a new Arch Manning article. I see a new Ohio State, budget meeting. It's like every time I get on, there's teams that are being talked about, and one that isn't is the one that's been, to 6 of the last 7 SEC championships, and that's the Georgia Bulldogs. And I feel like they're a team that everyone really needs to keep an eye on this year. Hard-hitting analysis by Cousin Shane. You know who else you need to watch out for? Alabama.
In Texas. But hey, anything else, man? I'm winding down here. I think this beach is this sun, this beach, all this is beating the hell out of me. I'm not saying I'm going to go to sleep after this podcast, but I am saying I'm going to go have some beers, and then I'm going to go to sleep after that.
Oh, Mike, you've been since you logged on here. I should have just done a solo pod. One guy, we'll call it one guy and 50 cousins. Oh shit! No, I better not. I better get out of here, Mike. Hopefully we'll get some more action. We got some more coaches coming up. We got some more of our best friend Sankey coming up. So we'll be sure to keep an eye on those clips and bring that to you tomorrow. But see you tomorrow. We're going to close this show out strong. Appreciate all the cuzzos hanging out, hitting the thumbs up. That really does help us out. Subscribe. We got a lot of new families that have joined us, and I'm rambling, Mike. So let's get off here. Mike, anything you want to say before we leave?
Yeah, I'll be back home in Nashville for tomorrow's show, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully there'll be 0 technical difficulties while I'm down here. Hey, see, I get who was it? Someone just said, "Ghost Patriot, go to Dewey's." Don't go to Dewey's. Exactly. That's the lesson that I want everyone out there to know is do not go to Dewey's. Worst place in Destin. If you want to eat dinner with cockroaches, go to Dewey's there on the harbor. That was awful. But hopefully tonight's dinner is less horrible than that. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to get back. I mean, I've hit that point, Shane, where I've been dreaming of this vacation for so long. But when you're at like the 11th hour, you're like, God, I just want to get home. And that's where I'm currently at right now.
Me and my wife, we're notorious for this. So let's say we're going on vacation, right? And let's say it's a Monday through Saturday vacation. So it's getting close, and let's say it's Saturday, and we're like, hey, why don't we leave a day early? Huh? Why don't we drive down halfway, get a hotel, do something in Savannah or whatever, area we're at, and then we'll go down there. So that's what we end up doing. We're so pumped up. So we get on the road, and let's say we're supposed to check out Saturday. Friday, we're like, what if we leave early? Huh? Like, all I did is shift my vacation up one day, but I'm like, yeah, let's just go now. Let's don't get up in the morning and deal with all that, So I'm right there with you. The older I get, the less I like being away from home, it seems like. But I'm looking forward to you coming back, Mike, especially because this producing is for the damn birds. I'm ready to switch my screen back and, but again, thanks for all the cousins hanging out with us. Hopefully we'll get some more content, but that's all I got, Mike.
Yeah, and hopefully we got one interview in the can, so that's going to be coming out soon. It was a hell of an interview. We got at least one more coming, hopefully a lot more than that. But it's been a total shit show down here. So no promises can be made. Hell, the one we shot's probably ruined. So that's going to do it, Shade. Before I say any more, we'll catch you on the next one.
Tough for us to feel bad for Mike here at the beach. Poor Mike, everything.
Hey, buddy, this beer's for you, Mike, and Cousin Shane. That SEC podcast loves the Pirate, and the Pirate loves that SEC podcast. Hail State.